sweeties, how are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. If this is your first time of coming across this channel, sweetheart, kindly smash that subscribe button and turn your notifications so you are notified each time I upload. And please give this video a thumb up. I appreciate you all so much, and I am saying a very big shout out to every one of you for the love, the support you all showering me here with. I am grateful, and you all are super sweet. So today we'll be talking something very important, and a very big shout out to the Black people who actually spoke on this. They did great job with the analysis. And yes, let's get into this video. So this video is actually about Charlie, who actually came out to talk about how Black people are irresponsible and always looking for a way to hold white people accountable for racism and slavery. And the fact that they still do not think that there is need for them to repair all the things, to fix all the things they have done to Black people, because still to this very moment, the effect of that slavery is still all over Black community, affecting them and all that. Now, to tell you something, how that old man, Charlie, was talking to some kids, and the kids were the ones teaching him history, telling him how selfish he is, that it is very selfish for them to talk about Black people that way. And he was asking, why am I supposed to talk about it? Why do you have to say that I am selfish? Why should white students have to work hard to pay Black people for reparations? And who is actually asking students and the people to pay for reparations? This really shows their mindset, how limited their mindset is, how they are not even open to conversation about Black people and reparations. And then he went further to say that Black men are always impregnating Black women, and they have a lot of kids, and like saying so many shitty things. And the kids still stood their ground to tell him that he is being so selfish and very insensitive and all that. I absolutely enjoyed this. And then I am going to roll this clip. We'll come back to talk about it. Let me know what you all think in the comment section. So shut up.
Republican podcaster and creator of TP USA, Charlie Kirk, hates Black people. But this runs deeper than skin color for him. He's always displayed a hatred for our skin tone, and he loves to debate college kids about race and basically talk over them and edit the videos to make himself seem smarter than the college students. But his recent campus visit tells a story about him that proves he's dealing with some type of trauma. Like, this video starts out bad, but as I'm going to show you, it gets worse as it goes on. Check it out.
Leave in reparations for people that are
so
in a
I, white man, have to play for Black people. Why?
First of all, that's not how reparations work. What Charlie Kirk is doing is he's betting on people's ignorance, especially those who educate themselves via TP USA soundbites. Charlie Kirk is presenting the vision that any funding to the Black community comes as a withdrawal from white people's bank accounts to Black people's bank accounts, as if we don't pay taxes, work, volunteer, or anything like that. It also dismisses the fact that this country is thriving due to years of free labor on the backs of our ancestors. That debt was never paid. Not only was it never paid, but the exploitation and trauma continued past slavery, and the residual effects can be seen in Black communities today. But Charlie Kirk, whose education is limited to 1 semester in college, wouldn't possibly know that.
Wow, that's a really selfish thing you just said.
Hold on. Why should I have...
That's a really non-empathetic thing to
Wait,
say.
why should I have empathy for a race?
People. I'm not saying for you to... Huh?
Why should the white students here have to work harder to pay for Black kids?
They don't, and no one's even asking for that. But Charlie Kirk has mastered white Republican manipulation. You see, no one challenges the validity of his statement, but the statement triggers emotions from people who don't realize they're being worked.
That's not racist, that's noticing.
So that was one of those edits used to make the college student look bad and Charlie Kirk look like he knows something, but he doesn't. And here's where his racism really takes a turn.
How is it the white man's fault that Black men started to abandon the women?
It's a bigger problem.
No, Blacks need to take responsibility for the women that they impregnate, not blame the white man for racism.
The fuck? This is how Republicans operate. Their goal is to get to the talking points and the lies, which is always black fatherless homes and bashing black dads, which study after study shows that black fathers are amongst the most involved parents. But many of you don't know that, and many of you don't even believe it, and that is because of years of media typecasting, social programming, and outright racism. I've literally had to check colleagues for saying stuff about me being the exception. Meanwhile, every single black man I associate myself with aren't just good dads, they are freaking exceptional, and our children's accomplishments are absolute proof of it. I wish more people could meet the circle of black friends that I have. But like I said earlier, this runs deeper for Charlie, because next he goes off, and I think I know exactly why.
America got less racist and the blacks got poorer because we started to subsidize single motherhood and pandering to blacks, saying you do not need to stay around with the women you're pregnant.
So you feel like us as a society has pandered?
Of course we pandered to blacks. They're in every TV commercial. They get more privileges to come into society. They come into every college on preferential with lower test scores. You can't ever say anything negative. You can lose your job. You have your entire life obliterated if you say something racist. And yet we have to hear about how racist we are. How about you take responsibility for your own actions instead of blaming the white man?
Okay, let me point out the BS and correct the misinformation first. He said they get more privileges coming into society. What does that even mean? That's just a bunch of word salad from the poorly educated. Then he says they come into every college under preferential with lower test scores. We don't. And even those who do, once they're in college, many of them have proven to outperform their white counterparts, proving that the government's quest to keep us down by underfunding our schools and over-policing our communities has been successful. But these next two speak volumes. Because imagine being Charlie Kirk and sitting at home watching TV commercials thinking, oh my God, there's so many black people on my television and this makes me feel sad. This really leads me to believe that one of Charlie Kirk's girlfriends left him for a black dude. Or maybe his mom left his dad for a black dude. I mean, maybe Charlie Kirk hates seeing black people thriving in education and entertainment because he's failed in both of those areas, and now he's just a grifter and a serial manipulator. I mean, this is some deep-rooted hate that Charlie Kirk has, and he proves it. He literally says, you get your entire life obliterated for saying something racist. So Charlie Kirk's main point here is that he wants to fight for the right of racists to be racist without accountability. And that right there is the objective of Charlie Kirk and the modern Republican Party. Period.
So I, white man, have to play for black people. Why?
First of all,
but hear me out for a second. What if we black people research who all of our ancestors are, and we find out who the white people were that enslaved them? And what if we start suing them by the millions and creating advanced research firms to calculate the compound interest on all of their assets? And if they refuse to pay, we put liens against their property for millions of them because we just wanted reparations from the government. But in reality, there are people walking around every day who are the descendants of slave owners, and they're benefiting from that. They receive inheritances, they have generational wealth. We need to sue them.
a Republican being a liar and a hypocrite? No way. That Republican being Vivek Ramaswamy? Yeah. I mean, the lies and the hypocrisy with this guy just don't stop. For a guy who made his money in tech, he sure doesn't seem to understand how the internet works. Like, once you've been interviewed and you say something, that exists forever, especially if it's literally a month or so ago. Here's Vivek Ramaswamy in August at the Iowa State Fair speaking with Republican Governor Kim Reynolds. She asked him about birthright citizenship and the test immigrants have to take in order to become citizens. Check out what he had to say.
If we're going to say it behind closed doors, we'll say it in public. I think that there's no reason why every high school student who graduates in this country should not have to pass the same civics test that an immigrant, like my parents had to pass in order to become citizens of this country.
So to clarify, Vivek said every high school kid in this country should have to pass the same civics test that his parents had to pass in order to become citizens of this country. And the sheer smugness and confidence in his voice before saying that. If we're going to say things behind closed doors, we should say it in public. Nah, Vivek, you should have kept that behind closed doors. You should have stopped saying that out in public the numerous times you did so. Because recently on Meet the Press, Vivek was asked if both of his parents were citizens of the United States and had taken that test that he keeps saying on the campaign trail that everyone should take. And here's what he said.
You've lately been talking on the campaign trail more about your mother than your father, and some folks have been asking questions, and I just want to be super clear. Did your father also take the citizenship test, and is your father a citizen?
He did not, and that's a choice that he has made for familial reasons.
Okay, so let's focus on the lie first, and then we'll get to the double standard. And what familial reasons might that be? But I digress. So on the campaign trail, he has been saying that his parents took a civics test to become citizens of the United States. Now he reveals that only his mom took that civics test. And suddenly the smug confidence is gone a little. And he tries to filibuster the conversation, but I like the way she stopped him to clarify. Check it out.
But my mother did, and I think that every immigrant who comes to this country in order to become a full voting citizen has to do the same. And I believe in being consistent about my policies where...
So your father is not a citizen of the United States?
He's not.
Okay.
So for the record, Vivek Ramaswamy's father is not an American citizen, and he did not take that civics test. So he's been lying the entire time on the campaign trail. Not only that, but is his father still here in America, and is he here legally or not? But then she presses on, and she asks when his mother became a citizen, and this answer really makes the conversation interesting as well.
And your mother, when did your mom take the citizenship test? Was it before or after you were born?
After I was born.
After you were born. Okay.
After years of being in this, following the legal process of becoming a naturalized citizen. She followed it through the legal process.
So in case you didn't notice there, Vivek tried to give two different answers. He said that his mother took the citizenship test after he was born. But then he said after years of, following the legal process and becoming a naturalized citizen. No, Vivek. She didn't become a naturalized citizen until after she took and passed that test. So when you were born, neither of your parents were citizens of the United States. But let's continue because it keeps getting better.
And so you gained citizenship through birthright then?
Well, but you gained citizenship through birthright citizenship in that sense too, right?
Nice try, Vivek, but that's not how it works. You gain citizenship through the same birthright that your party is trying to get rid of. You yourself is on record trying to do the same, but now you're trying to play semantics with the terms. I swear, if this dude didn't have double standards, he wouldn't have any standards at all.
I mean, every American. So what I want to do is revive a vision of citizenship where every kid who enjoys...
I'm sorry, just to backtrack. So your father is not a citizen,
They came to this country legally. They were in this country legally. So my view is any kid who's born in this country of parents who are here legally, that's the scope of where birthright citizenship applies. And I think it's a very simple principle. The 14th Amendment says, subject to the laws and jurisdiction thereof.
Okay, I'm not going to subject you guys to listening to any more of his ramblings and hypocritical beliefs. Let's be clear here for a second. Vivek has been going around saying that every kid in this country should have to take a civics test in order to graduate from high school. He has said that it's the same civics test his parents had to take in order to become citizens of this country. Now we find out that he's been lying because his father never took that civics test and is not a citizen of this country. So he wants to apply rules to citizens that his father wasn't able to follow. And the Republican Party has been vocal about taking away birthright citizenship, whether it be for people who are here legally or illegally. Vivek is now trying to rewrite his party's history because he needs to justify his own birthright citizenship. So essentially, Vivek Ramaswamy would not be able to run for president if his party had their way. But let's be real here. Being a hypocrite and a liar in the Republican Party will not disqualify him or even hurt his chances of becoming his party's presidential nominee. But being a brown guy who is the son of 2 immigrants, that absolutely will. Period.
Test that an immigrant like my parents had to pass.
Straight facts, no chaser. Go check out this brother's video. Coach D puts it in on Vivek. All I gotta say is the scamacity of Vivek Ramaswamy. Yes, I made that up, scamacity. This dude is taking scummy to a whole new level. I mean, I don't know about your culture, but when black people who just lie incessantly on people and go against their own culture, I can't stand them. I deplore them. You know what I mean? They're like the scum of the earth. That's like your Candace Owens and, Larry Elders and all that. You must be that for your culture. Indian people wanting to come to this country, living here right now in America the same way your parents are and haven't taken their test yet. You want to get rid of them, but you don't want to get rid of dear old dad. Mom, who had that opportunity before 1985. Just scum of the earth, man. Your culture must look at you and like, ugh. I mean, if it's anything like the black culture, they got to be looking at you and saying, this is one trashy ass person in our culture. Because that's what we think about the people in our culture that fight against everything that we're trying to do. People in this country legally or going through the process legally. I mean, and then those who are here illegally and get over the border for asylum. And then that's a part of being legal, the way they come in. But you guys call it illegal. But regardless, only want to do right by this country, most of them, right? I would say 99.9. You may get 1%, let's give it 99, that may come to do harm. The people who harm this country the most are rich white men. You know why? Because they're the only ones who give access to those drugs to even come to this country. Who's buying them? Who's buying them? Who has enough money to bring, a whole truckload of crap over the border? Not only that, the logistics of it all. The drugs are expensive. The logistics is way more. Because you got to create a whole system. Who's got that kind of money just living on the street? We never talk about that. The reality is, you're scum, bro. You're just complete and utter scum. And I don't understand why the Republican Party dives into the scummy area of the pool. But I don't know about y'all. If I see something, little brown thing floating at the top of the pool, I'm out. I ain't swimming in it. Y'all can continually want to swim in scummy waters and then wonder why people don't like you. Vivek is one actual understanding of why Democrats, independents, liberals don't want to swim in your shitty waters. I speak facts, straight facts, no chaser. Fuck your feelings.
So this is all I got from the video stitches, and I must say that so oh my goodness, Vivek, you all already know how he's been lying from the onset, so it's not new. There is nothing new about him. There is nothing that I see about Vivek that I think it's new. It's just like him recycling, and he keeps lying. And he's asking why people do not like him. It's obvious. And he is thinking that they are going to pick him. You see how he is working so hard. So you see somebody that is an immigrant. You see the parents, when the parents came, they came illegal. They were illegal, illegally, right? And they stayed in the States, started processing their destiny. When they gave birth to him, they were still illegal immigrant, right? Illegal migrant, whatever. So him that came, the parents came, were illegal before they gave birth to him, is looking for a way that to close all that doors for other people also. If your parents are illegal, they give birth to you here, you're also illegal immigrant, right? You see how horrible some people are. I mean, this really tells a whole lot the heart of humans. But he is thinking that they are gonna pick him. The reality is that nobody is picking Vivek Ramaswamy, not even today, not even tomorrow. And then let's get down to Charlie. Charlie is just someone that I really do not understand himself. His mindset is just messed up, like another Candace Owen, you know. And he is like proudly doing it and being red to the seas to black people with all his heart, with all his chest, and he's doing it, and he is saying, what are you guys gonna do? He is talking like black people are going to, like, we are taking money from their banks and, like, you know, and saying this is the money for reparations and the rest of it. That is so dumb he is. And like that a black woman said, yes, I think it is time we look for those people that own slaves back then. Look for all of them, calculate all the taxes and sue the hell out of them. But there is something that I know for sure is that no matter how long it takes them and all that, they are also going to pay that reparations, whether they like it or not. And why Charlie was screaming and shouting, like, you know, about black people always saying they are victims of racism. You saw the white kid. Can you imagine how the white kids were trying to teach him history and CRT? But because he is Charlie, he has to be screaming and shouting that black people are supposed to take their this thing. Black people, are we supposed to also be the ones responsible for the babies or the women they give birth to, they impregnate and the rest of? Just look at the kind of things he's talking. And the kids were still making it that he is being very insensitive with what he is saying. And that was on period. The kids teaching an elderly person history this time around. I mean, this shows the kind of mindset he has, because his mindset is so horrible. But then, that is who they are. This is where I'm going to draw the curtain. Thank you so much for the support, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye for now.